We're back once again, my guys. Welcome to the Questbound gang. I'm so happy to have you guys back. Guys, today we're talking about another phenomenal, sensational 5 out of 5 book for me, and that is Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. Look at this stunning cover art. It is amazing. I know. I love it. You do too. Guys, I highly encourage you to read this book. It is great. It is the continuation of the Bound and the Broken series, and it is so much better than the original, right? A favorite quote, I think, for me in this one is, "It is the duty of the strong to protect the weak." I love it. I feel like it resonates so well with me. Um, I feel like it's just it's a great quote, simple, concise, straight to the point. So, what is this book about? What happened? I can't get into too much details if you haven't read the first one. I'm not going to spoil everything for you, but I do have to tell you about what happens in this book. So we have Kalen. Kalen is the main character, I guess, of the trio. It's Kalen, Dan, and Rist. And Rist, since the latter end of book one, has been separated from these two guys, and he's studying magic, doing his own thing like a chicken wing. So in this book, everybody's by themselves. Like Kalen and Rist are not together. They were separated at the start of the book, ending of last book, pretty much. And Kalen is making his way through the wind tunnels after the war that erupted at the end of book one. So we have Kalen as the main character, Valerius the dragon, and other several groups of people that are with him, and they're trying to make their way back towards everybody else. Here's the problem: they have no idea where the heck they are, and they have no idea how to get back there. So they're just exploring. They're running out of food. They're fighting monsters in these tunnels, and they finally make it somewhere to this lost city that hadn't been seen for millennia. And then, as they're exploring, well, the only natural thing to happen happens. They get attacked by an overwhelming amount of monsters, and people start dying. Now, I'm not going to say who dies. It's far be it from me to give you any kind of spoilers like that. But people die. Lots of people die. Or maybe not so many, but a few people die. And as they're trying to get the hell out of here, they find a portal. Magic. And this portal takes them to the other side of the world, the other side of the continent, pretty much. And they have, uh, now that once they figure out where they are, they have some sort of idea how to get back to where they need to get. But it's going to be a long journey. Now, once they get here, they encounter wyverns, which are slightly smaller dragons that look a little bit different, but are pretty dangerous. And they get attacked, and yet more people die. Then they encounter some very strong foes who absolutely destroy the living bejesus out of them. And sad things happen. I can't say what those sad things happen. If you want to know, read the book or read my Goodreads review. Hey, why not? But all right, not in this section. I'll get back. I'll get to it. I'll do a little spoiler in like a few minutes. But anyway, the story, right? They encounter loss. They go through more fighting, and you really see Kalen developing as not only a Draelid, right? Someone that's dragon bound, dragon or pacted by fire with his dragon, but we also see him growing as a person. He goes through arguably some of the darkest moments of his life in this book, and I kind of, well, I can't relate because I've never been in his situation. I know that maybe some of you have, and I encourage you, if you need someone to talk to, you always feel free to reach out, even though this isn't like a mental health post, but um, feel free to reach out if you have no one to talk to. But get help, right? If you've ever gone through some of the things that he's gone through, obviously in a real world scenario, there are people out there willing to talk to you. And if you have no one, I volunteer, But anyway, we see that we see a lot of growth, not only from Kalen, we see a lot of growth from Rist in his own point of view. We see growth from Dan, who used to make all these smart, witty comments. He's now holding his tongue back, and not making the same like stupid comments as often. We see uh, we see Dalen, uh, who's growing too. He was always not envious of his brothers, but I don't know. It's like a dad thing that he wants his father's approval more than anybody else. Um, and he grows in this chapter too, and he kind of separates from his dad for a little bit to do his own thing to help his dad in the end. And his dad, I think, sees the wisdom in that. We see a lot of betrayal in this book too. And in parts, right? It's not just a dark book, right? There are very funny parts going on in this book too, right? We still have witty remarks by Dan. We still have some of the people that interact with Kaylin are just like silly and obnoxious, and then at the end of this book, we settle down to this like grand fighting, and we see the Knights of Acheron coming into play and interacting for the first time with Kaylin. That's where I'm ending the non-spoiler review. Now, past this point, there will be spoilers. I repeat, spoiler alert. So, stop reading here, stop watching here if you haven't read the books. Okay. So Kaelin gets captured by this high-level mage, and he gets tortured. Literally, nails ripped off his fingers, starved, beaten, healed, beaten again. This flesh peeled from his back. Um, it's some really, really dark stuff, man. And I can't help but wonder, like, how he pulled through, because he was cut off completely from Valeris. So it felt like half of his soul was missing, and that's really rough. So, but he pulled through. So I don't know, man. Somehow this guy pulled through, and once they're reunited, you see the fear in his eyes and in his soul, and the same thing with Valeris. And he kind of loses it for a minute or two until he's able to calm down. You see how he loses a lot of friends, of his die in this book. All the elves that all the dwarves that he were with, just dead, killed by the mage, some by the wyvern, some in the tunnels, the wind tunnels. Man, that was rough, you know. And you kind of see this PTSD toward Valeris for the tunnels and the clicking sound of like the spider like creatures that attack them, and like whenever they hear the sound they just like freak out and they turn and they start going everywhere and they're like, what's going on, you know? So you kind of see that. I mean, I don't have any experience with PTSD, but maybe some of you guys have, and you might know more, you know, of what he might be feeling. You know, maybe you can relate better to him. Anyway, so I want to jump straight to the end. This grand battle between all these bad people and this like force of intermixed good, I don't want to say good people, but like the opposition to all these like bad guys is epic. You see Kaylin teaming up with people from uh I keep wanting to call it the Empire, so I'm just gonna call it the Empire. From the Empire, and who are the people that had captured and tortured him, right? But you see these other people partnering up with him so that they can kill these monsters that are attacking them. And it's really awesome to see him interacting finally with the Knight of Acheron. Um, the fight scenes are awesome. The soul weapons are super cool. Like, I love how they describe fighting in this book. I think Ryan Cahill did a phenomenal job. I think you guys really really need to read this book. Read the entire series. Book one starts a little slower. It's the build up to what happens, but a lot happens in book one. And then this book is just great. I already have the next one. It's waiting for me right there in this shelf somewhere. It's one of these back here. And it's The Exile, which talks more about Dane and the Wyvern Riders and all that stuff. And Dane is a very interesting side character. I can't wait. I already know it's going to happen at some point. Like in this series, I know all these main characters are going to come together, and something's going to happen. They're probably going to try to fight all the bad people. Um, and I feel like it's working its way there, right? This is the first interaction you see between Kaylin and other main characters, and I can't wait to get there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned. You know, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and help the page grow. Right? I can't wait to have you guys back for the next one. Take care.